Hey everybody, Roger here. I guess we're still having a little bit of issues in Arizona and some other states in regards to these midterm elections. Mrs. Stacy over in Georgia wants a recount, and yeah, Miss Thang over there. So yeah, we're not completely done with this right now. So things could change here or there a little bit, but overall, it looks as though, obviously, the Dems have won the House by a pretty large margin. I believe when all is, I don't know, I believe it's going to be large enough. And the Republicans now, officially own the Senate, so I think they probably will end up with about maybe 54, 55 seats. I don't know. That's what I assume at this point. But one big takeaway, and there's a couple of YouTubers out there who have insisted that this doesn't matter, that this thing I'm about to say does not matter, when it actually does. Voting matters. Voting matters, especially when we started seeing that there were a couple of these areas, a couple of these precincts that were won by very, very, very narrow margins. A couple hundred votes, a couple thousand votes. So yeah, getting up and doing what you need to do is advised. And highly recommended, because it obviously, you could tell, it sways election results. And I don't feel like there was any sort of a blue wave or any red wave either. It doesn't seem like there was either or. There's a little bit more control in the House. In the Senate, and a lot more control in the House. So regarding each respective party. So yeah, that's a very interesting thing as well. The problem that I see in the future going forward, though, at least for the next 2 years, is Trump is going to have to do a lot of things executively. This is one thing that I said in a couple of other videos, we needed to avoid. We do have to go out there and vote, make sure that, whether you like Trump or not, and maybe you stand for some pretty big policies and ideas that he has planned, but he needs, to make legislative decision, not executive decision here, then you would go out and vote and support. Now since we had, it was quite a big Democratic turnout all around, very high turnout for them. And with that, they were able to, basically seal the House and have control over a lot of things. And this is shitty because now I think, at least for the next 2 years, Trump's going to have to executively executively run things. Put some executive orders out there, and again, we've seen what he's done with the 8 years of Obama. He's almost completely obliterated it. This is why it's very important. To have to go out and vote, so you can prevent this from happening. At this point, we'll see what happens. So, a couple of takeaways here in regards to all of this. Neither of these left versus right ideologies work for anybody in general. I've seen the left do it. They coerce their people to come together, go out there and vote. Yet, it's a loud motorcycle. That's a nice one. So, sorry, that kind of distracted me a little bit for the last couple seconds. But plantations do not work. They do not work for the left. And what I see the problem with the left is they will rile people up. They'll get their talking points going all together, and they all have preached the same talking points. But these people hardly ever do their research. There's nothing that the left does for them that actually benefits them. So they don't bother doing their homework. They are part of the sheep that goes into that plantation. Now we also have the right doing that now as well. We've seen evidence of it with certain right-wing groups. Turning Point USA in particular is who I'm picking on right now. Same thing. They preach the talking points, and yeah, they'll encourage you to vote, but then they also lie. They lie about quite a bit of things. Not only that, they lied about the turnout regarding black individuals supporting more Republican candidates. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure the demographic statistics will come out for that later, but it does not seem like it was a big enough wave to make any sort of a difference. Which, again, I do start to side with more of our more of the critics who say that you do need the white vote to make a difference. It is true. It is true. White people are the majority of America still. It's the black vote, even if you make a dent in it, like Turning Point USA is saying, oh, you know, blacks have 36, 56, I don't know what percentage are supporting Trump or whatever. Again, take that and look at the population, overall population. What is it, 15 to 20%, 17% or something of the total population in America is black. So if you have 50% of that, then that's, I don't know, just a couple million votes. I don't know. I'm not good with math in my head, impromptu, but it's not much of a difference, not much of a big deal, especially when you have to consider the fact that you have to rely on all of them to go out and vote without obstacle, or you know submit their ballot in advance. But it's a plantation on that side as well. The real issue there is that both sides are manipulating, and manipulating people to go out and vote and do things is a first step. It's a tactic, and it's temporary. It's not, there's no follow through with it. You just tell people to go vote this, go vote that, go vote this. Don't think for yourselves, and that's my whole issue with both sides. I tend to think that Turning Point USA could have definitely benefited with more truthful people, but it definitely could have made a little bit more of a difference, if any difference, if they even made a difference, if they promoted free thinking, not manipulating. And that's my 10 cents on that. And I don't know, it's just so much going on overall in regards to this. It's a couple of other things, like again, Turning Point USA, in my opinion, was all hype. They can claim something, people are still going to believe them. They're going to have their followers, and cults like that always do have their followers who will never have a bad thing to say about them, and they'll always downgrade my videos, which again, it's fine. It's called interaction. I love both the positive and negative remarks on my channels. That's what we need. That's what we're missing right now is valid engagement. We don't engage with one another. Candace Owens and also Brandon Tatum at this point, all they want to do is just argue about what the left is doing. They don't want to debate the fact that maybe there are some elements within the left that are probably decent ideas, and maybe they haven't been handled correctly, but engagement is the process. No, they both, well, mostly Candace, has to start with arguing about it. Actually, even Brandon lately, they just argue and say, no, our way or the highway, our way is right. Yeezy he's such a phony person. I can't believe he did this with donating to a blue candidate. Again, it's not a one-way street. There's so much to letting the individual's mind evolve. There's so much with you guys actually going out there and actually debating, not just debating, but conversely associating with people that disagree with your ideology to see if there's any sort of common ground. It sounds like everybody does have some good ideas all around. Obviously, the left has more evil ideas in general. The right has their own, I really, as well, just as bad, if not, I don't think they're worse, but just as bad. Close to being as bad. And I don't know, people. I mean, it's let me just park here really quick. Republicans just don't know how to motivate individuals. They don't know how to motivate individuals to the point that allow them to be free thinkers. All they do, they're now starting to take the tactic of the left. Massa Charlie Kirk, you said it correct. Candace Owens does play identity politics, and she does it like no other person. Well, guess what? She's doing it like every other Democrat out there, and it's costing everything. It's a costly obstacle. Instead, what should happen again is you guys should be motivating people to be critical thinkers. You should motivate people you should push her to ask questions, not just go off like a rabid barking dog. And again, Brandon Tatum at this point, I'm not sure which one is the communications director and which one is the human whatever. I'm not sure who is who between the two in Turning Point USA, between Candace and Tatum. Candace and Brandon, but there's hardly any. It's again, so I don't ramble. Stop arguing, start talking and debating with people that you don't like, with people whose ideas you don't associate with. Maybe at that point, people will start taking you seriously. Maybe at that point, some minorities, blacks, Mexicans, whatever, will look at you and be like, okay, well, look, they are talking. They are trying to make a deal. It could have looked better for optics anyways. The optics, not the optics that you did when you were trying to just get rid of Hotep Jesus, Mr. Sharp there, for his views. You could have, again, it goes back to embracing, questioning things. It goes back to people, that's how we progress, because we can determine with debate and association, discussion of all these things, what's the best idea? No questions are being answered right now because everybody's just arguing. And that's all you guys have done. And this is the result. The ones who came out the victors were the ones who were able to get more support with, and that was the Democrats. And it is what it is. The solution is to allow dialogue. The solution is to allow both parties to just start working with each other. We're going to have an issue now where Trump, again, is going to have to take a lot of executive action instead of actually having to deal with this with both parties. Immigration reform, the wall, DACA, immigration reform and the wall, I think, are going to be something that is not going to be possible in the next 2 years. Not now, anyways. Definitely not now. There'll probably be some negotiations with DACA that could probably make something happen, but who knows? I have no idea. It's all a big iffy question mark at this point. The next 2 years are going to be about still a lot of infighting. There might be some walkouts. There might be some government shutdowns. I don't know. This midterms did not turn out the way that I thought it would. But I kind of knew it was going to be a tough battle anyways. It is what it is. And Trump, he just gave a conference this morning, and he was like, no, this is better than expected. We all did good. We had, look in Florida, we had this. Look in Arizona, we have this going on. And whatever he was saying, it was like, okay, Trump, you're talking to your audience now. These are little victories that don't add up to the whole. And, it could have definitely been way, way, way better. You don't have to fabricate it. It is what it is. It is going to be a challenge for the next 2 years. And you're basically going to be executively working like Obama has pretty much almost all his tenure, since he couldn't work with anyone and they couldn't work with him or wouldn't work with him. So I don't know why people are celebrating this. People are celebrating the fact that, the right isn't, going to be prominent in the House anymore. And why does not resolving and discussing things, why is it cause for celebration? It shouldn't be. There's going to be hardly anything done, and if he does anything executively, it's going to be brushed away by the next president, possibly. It makes no sense to me. It's a waste of time, and it's a lackluster midterms. There are some pros, there are a lot of cons. But yeah, hopefully it won't be that hard to pick the next justice after RBG dies, or passes away, I should say, if I'm going to be nice about it. Yeah, what are you guys' thoughts about this midterms? It's a crazy turn of events. There was a lot of people who were hyping it up, a lot of people who thought that they provided more minority vote than they actually did. You know who I'm talking about there, and so on and so forth. We're going to have a lot of work to do. The big plus here is this. If the Democrats continue to, before I go, if the Democrats continue to do what they've been doing the last couple of years and just arguing, and the mainstream media keeps pushing the narrative that they're all, that the right is crazy and the left has to be unhinged and that they could just scream talking points and things will get done. If nothing gets done, what does that do to your screaming audience? What does that do to your SJWs? What does that do to your NPCs? What does that do to all these people who are have fabricated feelings about the way the economy is under Trump? if you don't do it, if the left does not take action on anything, this is going to stab you guys in the 2020 election. It will. And maybe this was a blessing. Maybe it's a blessing in disguise, that the House is controlled by the Democrats as a little bit more now, and Nancy Pelosi is going to be the Speaker of the House. Maybe we'll have more oddball quips from her that just make her look bad, but I don't know. You know, even with this one, Maxine Waters is a crazy ass loon, and her supporters bid it. I mean, she won literally 75 or 80% to Omar's 20%. I just was astounded when I saw that. I didn't think it would be that distant, but apparently there's a lot of people who live under her, you know, I don't even know what the word is, under her control, who like what she does, and in my opinion, all that she's doing is bringing them down. Their district is shit. They must like it. They must like it. Whatever. I mean, those are the people you'll have to outreach to Turning Point USA if you really, really, really want to make a difference. Stop going to schools that are, I don't know. I don't know the full everything about TPUSA, but you need to really reach those kind of districts if you wish to make if you want to have any sort of relevancy or worthwhile projects under your belt that could help people from ghetto communities actually understand what's going on and how these kind of things hurt them. At this point, you don't have that. You know, stop writing text on your website regarding Blexit that says designed by Kanye in text under each article of clothing. Stop lying about the fact that you said shit like that. Stop being deceptive. Stop twisting things. Just be a fucking change. That's all you have to do. This is why I say movements do not work, because they don't. They only work in so far as temporary stopping points. You know, yeah, there's a movement right now with the left, with all of these different type of parties and associations, and they went out and they voted, but guess what? It doesn't change a fucking thing. We get more people in office, they don't do shit. There's going to be a lot of government shutdowns. There's going to be a lot of probably more cases going on regarding the Trump investigations and things that they want to throw at Trump to try to impeach him or whatever. It's not going to happen, obviously, because the Senate won't make it. It won't let it happen. But it's nowhere. We're getting nowhere. We get nowhere when we deal with this kind of shit. Nothing's going to be done. That's the unfortunate part. We're wasting time, people. We're wasting time on a lot of shit. Economy's probably going to be a little bit slower now as well. I don't know. It's just it's so fucking messed up. But my piece of advice here is this. Stop focusing on getting the quick votes. Stop focusing on just hurting the sheep. Start focusing on directly associating with people who do not think like you. That's what I do in my videos. Whenever I look at my comments and I see somebody who fucking hates what I have to say, like just really, really bad, and they're like, oh, you're a hypocrite, or I hate the way you think. Why are you talking about Mexicans like that? Why are you talking about blacks like that? Why are you talking about Filipinos like that? You are so bad. What, do you worship the white person? And remember that comment from one of my videos. It's kind of funny. I'm like, all right, let's have a debate. Let's have a debate. 9 times out of 10 they don't, but I'll get that one person that does want to engage, and it's awesome. It's awesome when you can associate with people who don't like to think like you do, or who have the mindset of you, and you can even learn from them. Have you guys ever thought about that at Turning Point USA? No. From your videos, you guys think you're the one and only in soul, and soul for everybody, and you're the right way. But you know what? You don't even question that. You just assume. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting. Anyways, that's my suggestion. What are you guys' thoughts about the midterms? How did you think everything turned out? You know, is it similar to my ideas, where I just think it's just bleh, and we're gonna have the next couple of years be really shitty, and it'll be, or you know, and also I think that it's gonna be a good 2 years for us to see what the Democrats are really, really like, see if they'll actually begin to work, and play fair with the Senate and everyone together, the left, the right, and all the people. What are your guys' thoughts overall on it? Sorry about the rambling part, just kind of impromptu little video here. Hope you guys all have a great day. Peace out.